transaction.
What is a fideicomiso?
Fideicomiso is when the bank holds the title and you pay a fee. It's an annual fee. You may pay an initial setup fee, but they hold the title. They don't own the title. They don't own the property. You still have full ownership rights. You can sell, buy, refinance, leave it to your beneficiaries, rent it, all that. So, and I relate it to something similar to the county recorder's office here in the States. We have a county recorder's office and they hold the title technically. And when we pay it off, we can reconvey it. Well, it's done with the bank instead. So that's how they keep it in secure.
Basically answered the next question, which is the fideicomiso just a lease?
No, it's not a lease. No, it's not a lease. I mean, you own the land. I mean, you owned,
Right.
you own the property. They simply hold the property for you.
And what are the fees involved?
The fees, they have a setup fee and they usually have a monthly fee and depends on the price of the property and any complexities of the property. So maybe residential may be different from multi-residential. But basically we're paying only $125 a month, a year, what we're paying.
I would have to look at the numbers again.
Yeah, it's in our
Yeah.
thing, but it's very little, it's
Mhm.
very minimal. So amount of money to do that. So that's what you do. Point out.
Okay. How can you buy in the restricted zone without a fideicomiso?
You can buy as a Mexican corporation. So, as any corporation, Mexican corporations are just a little more documented, with more paperwork, which means it's more expense involved and it's more fees involved. And you're not able to utilize a lot of the tax shelters or capital gains shelters that you can if you buy in the fideicomiso. But you can buy it. And another thing too is that you have to be a resident or assign or have a person that has the power of attorney to be in the corporation, to buy in the corporation in Mexico. So either, so it's just a little easier and less expensive and more flexible to buy with the fideicomiso.
And why do I need a real estate attorney?
Because in lieu of escrow, you have an attorney handles all the paperwork. You need them to review. Really important, and people have heard this before, or we've heard that people have heard that you don't, the land, like someone else may loan the land. And so it's really important for them to do the title search. And they go back years, and ours went back, what?
1889.
1889. So they went back on the title.
Chain of custody.
The chain of custody since 1889. I mean, like it's 2022. So that's very thorough, more than so than they would do actually here. So they go back and then they also verify that. Then they also verify again, is any liens or any encumbrances and that you're able to get free and clear title. And then they handle the transaction. Sure, all the legal paperwork is correct and the title. Like in our situation, we have a special attorney and accountant that are familiar with international transactions. So they know what the process is for foreigners to be able to do the paperwork. What was new to us that I haven't done, I've been in real estate here since, 1989, that they have a process called apostille. And what that is, and this tells you, just gives you an idea how thorough they are. The documents, like our corporate documents that we're buying for our investors or in an LLC, we have to send those documents to the state county recorder's office that if they were recorded on, they have to personally notarize and sign and seal them and send it back to us for us to send it to them. Like many times you can use, photocopies, or you can use copies, electronic copies, not them. They have to do it. And every officer, the officers, everything that we sign, as far as like our power of attorneys or our incorporating documents, has to be notarized. And then we have to send the information to the state office of each, where the notary is. They want to verify and confirm that that notary is still licensed and valid and current. So we had someone from our board is from Nevada. So we had to send the documents to Nevada State of Nevada office to have it notarized, and other ones were from California. We had to send it to them. So we're waiting for those paperwork now. And then once we get it, we have to send it to Mexico, the originals to Mexico, and they take those originals and send it to their government, right?
Mhm.
And it takes like 4 weeks, and the bank for them to verify and authenticate it. So I mean, we don't have that process here. So they're very, very thorough and it's very secure, so to avoid anything slipping through.
Okay.
Okay. That's not,
You want to ask the next question?
no, you asked.
Okay, all right. What function does a notario publico serve?
Well, that's like the attorney, it says assigned attorney that has that capability of being, it's like your notary public. So that's the attorney that, there's not every attorney does this. So there's certain attorneys, they have to get a special license, right?
Right. So a notary public in Mexico is different than a notary public here. The notary public in Mexico is actually an attorney, and he's a real estate attorney. So he knows he not only protects the buyer, he protects everybody in this. So he protects the buyer, the seller, and the state. So he makes sure all the paperwork is done properly. So that's what a notary public
Right,
is.
so that's why the process is so litigious because of that. But it's again, our notaries are not necessarily attorneys here and they don't act in that way. So it's a good thing.
Will the property have a title?
Yes.
Okay.
Elaborate on that
Yeah,
for me.
As long as, provided this is a legal purchase, so the title search is done and the attorneys guarantee that there will be a title. So that's the other reason for using the attorneys is they guarantee there will be a title to the property.
Yes.
So can the Mexican government take my property? You know, I'm sure everybody's heard stories about them coming in and taking somebody's property or some other group coming in and taking property.
No.
Okay. So provided you used a real estate attorney,
Right,
they
you
did
do
the
it the
title
right way.
searches, they did all of their work properly, which that's why you hired them. The ownership is basically the title is at the bank and it's being held by the bank in your trust. So you own the property and the search that they do will reveal any taxes or liens or anything that's against the property. So as long as those are all free and clear, then once the titles are registered as the owner, then no one can take the property.
Yes. Yep. Next.
So I think that's it. That's number 10.
It is.
Yeah, that's a 10. That was a 10th question.
It is. Okay.
So the only way the federal government there can take your land is the same way they take it here, which is if they want to widen a road or if they want to put a freeway in or if they want to do something like that, that the US government has the right to do that. The Mexican government has the same right, but they can't just come in and take your property and not reimburse you for it.
Yeah, and that just depends on, again, you know, exactly where it is. But it's another thing too, that people have heard that it's only for 99 years or 50 years. That's been abandoned. That's no longer true. So yes, at once upon a time, there were some time limits, but now there's not. So that's it. So let's go into rock and roll. Any other questions? Anyone having questions? You want to make it 11 questions or 12 questions? No? Okay.
Well, we really didn't answer one, which is it safe in Mexico? And we'll cover that in our presentation.
Yes.
But yes, it is.
Yes. Yes. And the thing is that it's the same almost as far as safety as anywhere else. You know, people hear certain things. Just like last night, what did you say? You heard someone say they haven't come
They wanted to visit California, but they were afraid because all the gangs and everything. And they were afraid to come to the state because it was, you know, they've heard so much on the news about gangs and
things
all
like
stuff,
that,
so.
and robberies and murders and shootings, those big shootings and things of that type, those mass murders, shootings. And so, you know, they see what's sensationalized here, just as we hear and see what's sensationalized there. So it all depends on where you're at and it works. So let's tell you about this fantastic Costa Azul Beachside Villa property. We are preparing to close it, and this is our opportunity to be able to give you all the details. Now, most of you know about homework, and homework is where you can live where you work where you live anywhere in the world. And that concept was we started in 2018, and we just simply wanted to create an environment for people where people can work and live differently all over the world. So think about Airbnb meets WeWork. So what we're doing now is we're acquiring properties and to function as co-working and co-living. So who's involved?
Well,
Moi. I've been involved in real estate since 1989, and I've worked on all different asset classes, from fix and flips to triple nets to multi-residential to condo conversions, as well as triple net and short-term rentals. So I also had a community called An Empowered Women, where I work with women in building, starting, fixing, and building their businesses. So I'm familiar with the community, and I love real estate, and I love the ability to be able to combine community as well as real estate. And then you?
so I'm a seasoned investor in residential and commercial real estate. I was involved in a $15 million commercial industrial property, which had a $4.5 million syndication. I'm a general partner in Colavilla, and I'm a mechanical engineer, and I work for Titleist designing golf clubs. And my analytical skills support operations, financials, and the ability to scale.
Yes, they do. Then we have another member, Andre Evans. He works for the military and the Navy here locally. He's also involved in multi-residential. He has a podcast, he has a book, and he has meetups that he does every so often, involving all different aspects of real estate, but specifically multi-residential. Then Amy and Jamie are on our team, and they help us with investor relations. You may have been connected with them, or you will be connected to them when it comes to organizing and being able to plan and structure some of the things that you may need from us when we can't reach us. And then we have Cedric and Dominique. This is our young team, our assistants, and they do all the things that young people do, like the websites and the PowerPoints and the social media and things like that.
And then also,
And
Jake
also Jake, we had to squeeze, we had to revise our deck and get your beautiful face up there. But anyway, tell us about the team in Mexico.
Okay, so we've already got a super host lined up down there, Robin Wilhite. She was a California real estate agent, entrepreneur. She's been over 11 years in marketing, managing, promoting rental properties in Cabo San Lucas and the San Jose del Cabo area. She specializes in hands-on customer experience, and she's a wealth of information and resources down there. One of the people that works closely with her is Johnny Weschler, and he's the property manager. Mm-hmm. So he's the one that takes care of the nuts and bolts. So anything goes wrong at the properties, he takes care of it. Does assigns contractors, lines all that stuff up, make sure everything gets fixed and taken care of. He used to live in Arizona. He specializes in guest relations, and he has been going to Cabo for 24 years, and just recently moved down there. He's been permanently down there for about 2.5 years now. Then we have Adriana Carrillo, and she's our accountant and tax advisor. So her corporation is a group of public accountants, and they take care of when the money comes in. She will be the one that takes care of paying our taxes, which have to be paid monthly down there. So she will pay the taxes for us and make sure everything is paid, make sure Johnny is paid, make sure the contractors get their money. And then when the money that's left over will come up to the United States, and she'll make sure that it's all free and clear and tax-free when it hits our accounts up here. And then we have Renero Molina, who's our Mexican, he's our real estate attorney at Cabo Closings. So he's the one that's going to take care of us and make sure that everything's done right.
Yeah. And another thing too is that Robbins also has a concierge business, and she actually has a transportation business as well. She does so much work with people here in the States that she has trucks that go down almost every Tuesday, from bringing things from the United States to Mexico. So they're very well connected. So we do want to share with you that this is a investment presentation. So we advise you to consult your own tax, investment, and legal advisors concerning the merits of this offering. So now,
the nuts and bolts.
The nuts and bolts. This is the building. The top photograph is a picture of Worldmark, the building. I don't know how many of you have heard of Worldmark, familiar with Worldmark? Yes, maybe, yes, so. All right, so anyway, the builder of that building was, from our understanding, was gifted. He did such a great job. They gifted him a lot of the land, a plot of this land. And that's where he built our building. So you see the red dot, and then you see that long line from the front door to the beach. And so it's beachside. And how many steps is that?
236 of my steps.
So you counted them
I
yourself.
counted them. Yes.
Way too much time.
For the purpose of accuracy.
Okay, so that's how many steps. That's really, really an amazing location to have a beachside property anywhere, but especially there on this area. So the property is, in good condition. We're just going to do cosmetics, going to paint it. It is gated, so once you go through that door, we'll have a keypad. You can go through the gate, then you'll see the units. You'll have access to the pool, and then they have another building that was previously a restaurant. So what we have is 6 furnished units. They're about 960 square feet apiece. All 2-bedroom, 2-bath suites with full kitchens, washer and dryers, dining and living rooms, and private balconies with a view. We have one additional, 1 bedroom and 1 bath. That's a studio. It used to be a massage studio, so we're going to utilize it as an extra studio. 2-story building, over 19,000 square feet, built in 1999. And the common areas will include a pool, rooftop, co-working lounge, and it's on the Costa Azul beach. So tell us about the beach. Why is that beach so special?
There's only 8 swimmable beaches in the Cabo San Lucas area. And while it's not swimmable every day, sometimes the currents are such that they'll limit that, but it is one of the 8 swimmable beaches along that coast.
So it's a real jewel for people that love to swim, for surfers, and people that. So that we didn't even know before. So that was a lucky advance. So the property now, the 6 units are owned by, that was originally owned by Sheila, and Sheila was the one that owned the building, and she also owned the restaurant. She passed from COVID. So the other units were owned by her friends that are older senior people that are up in the Oregon area. So a lot of the decorations or the design, we're going to change. We're going to change it to make it light and bright. So it's just a matter of redesigning, going in and painting, adding new lighting, adding new furniture, color schemes, curtains on the windows. This is one unit that she used as part of her restaurant. So we're going to go in and just move all that out the way and, just dazzle it up, just redesign it to make it more beach. 4 out of the kitchen countertops are already granite. So there's 2 that we're going to change out and it's repaint. But again, it's the same thing. Open up those curtains so you can see the beautiful view and making everything light and bright. It's just redesign. And the same thing goes to the pool area. We're going to paint everything so you won't see La Salsa Restaurante anymore. Put some more landscaping, put some lounge chairs, umbrellas, lights, hammocks, just make it very, very inviting and beautify that area. And then tell them about the roof. We're going to do with the roof.
What are we going to do with it?
We're going to the rooftop. This is a view from the rooftop. So you get a beautiful ocean view, and then you have on one side, then you have the city view on the other side. Huge space, which currently is just being used to store a few things and air conditioning units. So we're going to take it and make pit lounges, fire pits, seating areas, bar area, barbecue area, lots of lighting, more hammocks. Just make it a really, really, really fantastic social area because you just come up the stairway and it's really easy access. So again, you'll be able to enjoy it up there as well as being able to enjoy the view from up there. So that's really exciting. And then this is the area that was currently or previously the restaurant. So we're going to gut that and like where that white panel is, make that an open window through, it's like a pass-through window from the pool area to the co-working area. And then on the side of it, it has this aluminum design. We're going to open that all the way up and then have a window there. So you'll literally be able to sit at the window and look out and enjoy the beautiful view. So it's going to be a co-working area. It's a great location. We're going to have a coffee lounge in there. It's going to be great. So we have the pool deck for co-working and co-living. We have the pool deck. We have rooftop bar, barbecue and lounge. We'll have a co-working lounge. We have live events. Let's say when we do the properties, we have like a couple weeks ago, we had a wine tasting. A couple weeks before that, we had Taco Tuesdays. So we do different things at the properties to connect the guests so they can actually be able to connect with each other. And then we'll have a private balconies and then we'll have a coffee cafe. So tell us more. It's located San Jose and San Cabo, San Lucas. How many people have actually been to Cabo San Lucas before? Raise your hands. Anybody? Yes. Okay, great. All right. So the difference is that Cabo San Lucas is a lot of clubs and it's just much more of a party area, where Cabo San Jose is quieter. It's more authentic, part of the Mexican culture, and they've got a lot of great restaurants, direct access to the beach, and the water is the Costa Azul. It has a surf break, but it's actually the Sea of Cortez.
Mhm.
It's the Sea of Cortez there, so that makes it really beautiful and really special. And nearby attractions are the beach, which is 200 and how many
30,
steps?
230, it says right there, 236 steps, so I can verify that.
And then we have the zip lines, and then we can have snorkeling, hiking, biking, horseback riding, everything on the beach. So again, it's a perfect location for that. Well, also, it's in the hotel corridor. So that means, so you have a lot of other hotels that are easy access. You can go there for restaurants or different activities, you can do that. And we also, in the front towards the beach, they have a restaurant. They have Mamma Mia's, which is a great restaurant, and they've got entertainment every night, live music, karaoke, bands, things of that type there. So it's easy access.
Yeah, there's even a better restaurant right across the street.
In Cullen District. There's a couple of them across the street. They're very,
Yeah.
very, even have a Starbucks across the street, and there's very few Starbucks there. So you're in the perfect location, and there's about over 3 million people visiting per year. And most of them are coming from the United States and Canada. So for as tourism, it's San Jose Cabo is one of the top 10 places to visit. Since March, they had over 325 tourists by airfare and by the cruise lines, and the tourism was 18% increase compared to overall Mexico. And then they just did $100 million airport, but the airport is only 20 minutes away.
Mhm.
20 minutes away from the property. So it's easy. So they got $15 Uber ride, very close. And it's very safe down there. You get the level 2 safety. It's the same level that you have in Europe, Germany, Denmark, England, UK, France, Spain, and Italy. So it's really important. They depend upon the tourism. The economy depends upon it. So the businessmen and the government works really hard in making sure that it stays safe. And the location, again, it's the airport's only 20 minutes away. They've got multiple high-end resorts and then world famous golf courses. The population is over 136,000, and it's considered, the Cabo San Jose is considered the old town. You can actually walk into their downtown area where they have, every Thursday they have the art walk?
Yep, art walk.
Art walk every Thursday. So a lot of arts, a lot of culture, lots of fun. So you want to share some of this with us?
Okay, so what you see here is the top one is rental size. So this is from Airbnb, the number of bedrooms in each of the rentals that are listed on Airbnb. So you can see there's a lot of 1-bedroom units. There's a lot of 2-bedroom units. You get to 3 bedrooms and it drops significantly. 4 bedrooms is even smaller, and 5 bedrooms is really small. So the reason that's important is there's a lot of people that are looking to do event rentals down there. So that's why the 5+ bedrooms. So if you want everybody to be able to stay in the same location. So we're planning on having this property available for that, for event rentals. And then the bottom shows the rental growth. Now this is the number of people renting in Cabo San Lucas area and San Jose del Cabo. So you can see it's about a 9% quarterly growth from 2019 to 2022.
So it's consistently growing. And, one of the things that they say that we found out is that in Cabo, they have one of the highest rental rates of the rooms. The hotels have one of the highest rental rates of all the areas in Mexico. So it kind of really just brings out a big quality of people.
Right. So the 5, why would people need 5+ bedrooms? Well, if you're having a wedding, corporate events like Jake was talking about, if there's a retreat that's going on, there's bachelor parties, there's bachelorette parties, family reunions, all those things. A lot of people that We talked to somebody that has a family reunion down there like every year.
Yeah.
So they rent a big place and everybody goes down, they have their family reunion down there. So those kind of event rentals are why we need the 5+ bedrooms.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great niche that we're going to have.
So that we'll talk about the large group rentals. You can see we're planning on 15 nights a month, and the nightly rate will be $2,000 to rent the whole property. So that's $30,000 a month. And then individual rentals will be the other 15 days a month. So at 6 units at $290 a night would be $26,100. And then the individual rental for the 1-bedroom studio would be $150 a night, 15 nights. So that's $2,250. Gives us a total of $58,350 rental income potential every month.
And the thing is that we're a Superhost property, and Robin is also a Superhost host. And so there's 19 comparable property Superhost status. And I don't know about you, whenever I use Airbnb, and we do use them a lot, you always start with the Superhost and then you work it down from there. So just to be in that, know that there's only 19 other comparables is a great thing.
So then how do we come up with the $290 a night? Well, this is from May, and that's not even in the high season.
Right.
The high season starts from October to end of April. So this is outside of that, and you can see the rentals are $379, $295, $225 a night, and the closer you get to the beach, the more expensive they get. So that's why we think $290 a night is reasonable.
It is very recent.
And then for the event rentals, you can see that this one, Airbnb won't allow you to offer anything. They always say 16 guests, but ours will be able to hold 25 because it's 6 units with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. So, and then the 1 studio. So that's 25 people ours will be able to hold. And at this one, 16 people is $2,200 a night, 31 a night, 79 a night, 41, 59 a night. And again, the closer you are to the beach, the more expensive it is. So that's why we're thinking 2,000 a night is conservative.
Very conservative. But it's better to be conservative.
So here's a pro forma financials. So you can see the gross rent potential. We just showed you that. We're being conservative and saying we're dealing with a 15% general vacancy. That gives us some effective rental income of $49,600. The expenses are $19,250. Net operating income would be $30,350 a month. How do we get the expenses? You can see down below. Real estate tax is $150 a month. Yes, that is accurate. It's $150 a month, $1,800 a year. Insurance, we're figuring $300 a month. Management fees is 20%. That is Robin Wilhite and her company. That also includes, she has a maid service, a cleaning service that's part of that 20%. So she does all of her work and does the cleaning for 20%. The accounting fees are 6%, and that 6% also includes the taxes that we have to pay. So
well, the taxes are 3.5%, and then her is 2.5%.
Yes, that's right. And then administrative fees, that's for us up here because we have to duplicate a lot of services here. We have to have tax attorneys up here or tax accountants. We have to have bookkeepers and all that kind of stuff up here. Yeah,
technology.
Systems, yeah. So that's why we need, plus there will be travel that's going to be going on down there. So then we have repairs and maintenance. This is where Johnny comes in. And Johnny looked at the property and said $750 a month was a reasonable amount to maintain the property. So when things break, things go wrong, we'll have that budgeted in.
We had a very thorough inspection, so there was nothing major that needed to be done on the property. So we were lucky.
So then the utilities are $350 a month. Cable is one thing we're going to make sure is we'll get the best we can because that's very important for co-living, co-working. That you need to be able to stream everybody that's staying there. So we're figuring $200 a month just for the cable. And then here's the fideicomiso, which is a bank trust maintenance, which was $122 a month, about $1,500 a year to maintain the fideicomiso. And then marketing, we have $2,000. That gives us our total of $19,250. And there's we're going to hold 60,000 in reserves on this property.
Yeah. Okay, so now more numbers.
No, more numbers. Yeah.
More
So
numbers,
we're
good
going to start
numbers.
bombarding everybody with numbers here. Okay. So we're going to have two different classes that we're going to offer in this property. So one is Class A units, the other is Class B units. For Class A units, we're going to, for $50,000 investment, you will get a 7% annual return. And that means basically, if you invest $50,000 with us, you will be getting $3,500 a year from us as your return. So after 4 years, that will add up to $14,000. And then what we're going to do at exit, and our exit is planned between 4 and 6 years right at this point. So if we were to exit at year 4, you would get a 7% catch up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay you another 7% for every year. So that's why it's another 14,000. So your total return will be 28,000 off your $50,000 investment after 4 years. So the total amount returned to be 78,000. Your equity multiple is 1.56 for that. Your ROI, you can see that's 14%. And then your IRR is 12.8% for 4 years. And then you can see the numbers for 5 and 6, and that's, again, 7%, it's 14% basically. So that's where those numbers are. And then we're also going to offer Class B units. So the Class B units are only going to pay a 6% annual return. However, the exit return is based on a 50% split of the profits from the sale from the capital event distributed amongst the Class B units. So that we're estimating by our sale price is 28,000. Total return would be 40,000 off a $50,000 investment. So you're getting 90,000 back. Your equity multiple is 1.8. That's a 20% ROI and an IRR of 16.9%. Now, you might be wondering how I'm getting that exit return. Right now, down in Mexico, the commercial properties down there have a cap rate of usually between 8 and 12%. So basically, I went through our NOI and calculated a 10% cap rate. So we're right in the middle of that. And then based on that number, that would be the sale price. And then I subtracted our costs out of that to get that return.
Amazing, thank you. So what I look at it as another interpretation is Class A is fixed. For those of you who want a fixed return, want to know exactly to the penny what you're going to get. The 7% to catch up when we exit, but also the 7% annual return is going to be paid to you monthly. Starting in January 2023. So you'll have some money coming in monthly, some cash flow, and then you'll have another chunk that's going to come when we exit the property, whether it's year 4, year 5, or year 6. So when you're thinking about it in broad terms, it's 14% interest on your money. And when you think about that, you say, okay, what am I getting in my SEPIRE, my 401ks, or in the bank, or even in the stock, and so forth. So that's the measurement. The Class B is the flexible options, which means that, it's going to be flexible. You're going to know you're going to get 6% returned, paid monthly, starting January 2023, so that you'll have that cash flow. But the exact amount at the exit, we will know because it's based on what the property sells for. So you'll have 50% of that. So the return on that, the ROI now you're looking at is like 20%, or 18.6%. or 17.8%. So as much as 20% in year 4 will be your return on your investment. So if you look at the numbers, year 5, you're almost doubling your money. In year 6, you've more than doubled your money. So it just depends again, whether you want something that's fixed or you want something that's flexible. And there's more.
There's more. So as a bonus, with a $50,000 investment, we're going to give a complimentary 4-day, 3-night stay at the property.
Yay. All right, so here's the same numbers at 100,000.
Okay, so 100,000. So you can see we're going to offer an 8% annual return if you invest 100,000 with us, and then it will be an 8% catch up. So you can see it's 32,000 is what you'll be getting all along for the 4 years, right? And then, so when we do the exit, then you'll get another 8% for each of those years. So that's another 32,000. So that's 64,000 Off of a $100,000 investment, total return 164,000 after 4 years. Equity multiple is 1.64%. That's a 16% ROI. And the IRR is 14.5%. And this is for Class A unit. For Class B units, you can see that the exit return is 56,000. It's double what the 50,000 was.
Mhm.
But we're paying it a 7% annual return, which is 28,000. So that gives you a total of 84,000 total return, and original investment of 100,000. That's 184,000. Equity multiples 1.84. Your ROI is now 21%, and your IRR is 17.8%
Wow.
for a $100,000 investment.
Wow. That's huge.
And then bonus,
Yes, there's more.
there's more. With a $100,000 investment, we're giving a complimentary 6 days, 5 nights stay at the property.
Wow. And that's subject to availability,
Yeah.
but you just look at the calendar, you book it, and you'll be able to stay there. So that's a big plus. That's a big plus. So now at $200,000.
$200,000. Okay, it will, again, will be 8% with an 8% catch up. So you can see the numbers double. So you get 328,000 as a return off of your 200,000. Your equity multiple is still 1.64, an ROI 16%. Your IRR is still 14.5, same thing. And then off of the Class B units, it's the same thing, 112,000 was the exit return, a 7% annual return, 56,000 total return, 1.68, 168,000. Off your 200,000, that's 368,000. Your equity multiple again is 1.84, and your ROI is 21%, and your IRR is 17.8%. And the bonus for 200,000 investment,
Is
10 days and 9 nights stay at the property.
that's huge.
Mhm.
10 days would be heaven. We'll send that long. Okay, so
How is
Jake,
this deal structured?
Jake's gonna tell us.
Oh, Jake's gonna ask the
Yeah,
question?
Jake's gonna,
Okay.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
little cameo here.
There you go.
All right. So, so question number one, how is this deal structured, and am I able to invest? You want me to answer these two at the same time?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, you do not, this one is a 506B. There's 506B and 506C. 506B, you do not have to be an accredited investor in order to invest. So we made this open to non-accredited investors. So the 506C is accredited only. We wanted this to be able to be available to friends and family and people that may not necessarily be accredited. What are other ways of accessing funds? So one option is using a TSP, which is a military-based retirement account. Another option is being able to use a self-directed IRA. And then lastly, a solo 401k. So typically, a lot of people don't realize this, but you can use the funds that have been accruing in these traditional retirement accounts, and you can roll those into an investment like this to be able to really increase the amount that you're generating through that. So if that's something you're interested in, let us know and we can kind of walk you through the steps required to do that. When are the funds due? So the funds are due in the bank account by mid-September. Do we have an exact cutoff date, Desiree, that we're kind of targeting here?
No, we're looking towards the mid-September, and mainly because we're still waiting for our apostilles to come through. So, but we want to be prepared and want to be ready before that comes. So as soon as they come through, we're going to be able to close. So if someone needs more time, like some people are refinancing or they're moving money around, then just let us know, and they can do a soft commit through Syndication Pro, and then we'll be able to commit. We'll be able to hold that spot for them.
Awesome. When will I receive distributions? So distributions will start paying out in January of 2023. Really, it's going to be a pretty quick turnaround. We're not doing a full-blown remodel on this building. It's basically like Desiree was saying, we're gonna do some paint, do some redesigning, and really just get this thing right back on the market as quick as possible. So within a couple months, we'll have this property generating income, and as soon as it's cash flowing, we'll be distributing that money right back to our investors. So pretty quick in comparison to a lot of other investments, syndications that I've seen that are sometimes 6 months to a year down the road, depending on how lengthy the renovations are.
And another thing, Jake, is that their January dividends is going to be pretty hefty because they'll start earning interest as soon as we close escrow. So if that happens in October, they'll receive November and December, whatever that time is. So immediately when when we close escrow, that clock will start ticking. So that January will not only have January's dividends, but whatever the months prior to. So then in February, it'll go back to the normal distributions. So.
Awesome. So that'll be a nice kickoff to recoup those.
I'll retrieve some of that Christmas money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's definitely a cool factor because a lot of investments that I've seen out there, they don't accrue once closing starts. They start when they start.
Right.
Cool. Can I partner with family or friends? Yes, you can. So we've actually allowed other people to do that in the past where so the minimum investment is typically 50,000, but we've had people come in, partners, 25,000 each, or even smaller, 5 people could come in with 10,000 a piece. So we're open to that. Typically you want to do that with some, people that are close to you, friends and family members. But yes, we're open to breaking up a share to multiple partners going in. How much is the property and how much are you raising? So the property itself, the purchase price is 1.2 million. And then the total raise is 1.4 million. So that additional 200,000, that's going to be going into, repositioning and remodeling some of the property, really just kind of reinvigorating the property itself, closing costs, the reserves that Desiree and Gary mentioned. So just gonna have that extra cushion in there to get this property really bringing in the ideal cash flow. So total raise will be 1.4. And then lastly, what are the pro forma financials based on? So you saw Gary really kind of elaborate on that in depth a few slides back, but in regards to calculating the revenue at the top of the page, that's going to be based on the short-term rentals as well as the event rentals. So those 2 different categories of rents are what's going to be generating the monthly revenue that he had on the pro forma there.
Great. Yeah, we kind of covered this, in the beginning as far as the corporation and the Fideicomiso. If you have more questions about it, feel free to raise your hand and say something. So, Jake, you want to tell us about our timeline?
I would love to. So this month we are looking at closing and prepping our team and the property. So it's basically we'll be waiting there in the parking lot on closing date to get our guys in there and start working on the property and getting that repositioned and ready to go. October will be the redesign, starting to work on our PR and the onboarding. November is our target launch date and our grand opening. So really just starting to get the renters in. That's our goal, is to be able to capitalize on the holiday season. That's a big time down there in Mexico. A lot of the snowbirds going down there for the warm weather. So we want to really be able to capture that, towards the end of the fourth quarter. And then reap those in December as well. And then come January, start distributing the dividends back to our investors. And just like Desiree mentioned, that would be accumulation of December, November, and whatever the closing date was up until then.
Yes. So, so the reason why we are so excited about this, and it's how it differs, from short-term rentals in the sense that, yes, they're short-term rentals, but Excitement comes from co-working and co-living because it's a new category that a lot of people, and especially a lot of investors, have not invested in. Some investors are investing in traditional, fourplexes and fix and flips, but this is a category that is really up and coming, and it's exploding. And I'll tell you why. Is that during the COVID, the quarantine, a lot of people realized they did not want to be alone. They didn't enjoy working, living alone, and it caused a lot of loneliness and depression. And it increases up to over 32%. And a lot of people just didn't realize how dependent they were on socializing. And that socializing came from going to work. And many of them now are working remotely, so they don't have that on a day-to-day basis like they used to. So with that, they are working digitally. They're digital nomads. Previously, it's been mostly millennials and creatives. Now it's almost everybody is getting popularity all across the different professions, from doctors to attorneys to accountants to a lot of mechanical engineers, a lot of corporate people, HR. We had HR and insurance people there last week. So it's extended not only the need, but the desire across the different classes. And it has a lot of benefits. It's easy, it's flexible, it's less expensive, it's affordable because everything is built in one. A lot of people are giving up their leases and they're saying, well, if I can work remotely, why am I going to work in this apartment? I can work anywhere. I'll work on the beach side. I'll work in downtown San Diego. So they have that flexibility, and it's much less expensive that way. And they're meeting people. They're collaborating and developing friendships. And to many people, it's more secure. If you were traveling, or if you had a daughter or a partner traveling, rather than staying in an Airbnb or hotel by themselves, it's much more secure for them to be in a place where there's cameras and there's some kind of people know who you are and kind of just have a quiet eye looking out for you. So we did why we're so excited about this and how we can be so sure that it's a great thing is because we did it in San Diego. We launched our property on the January the 14th. And we did the same thing. It was previously a rooming house, a boarding house for men on fixed incomes. And so we went in, we cleared everything out, and we redesigned it, we repainted it, accentuated the beautiful fireplace, the views, and the furnitures and things of that type. And like this small room here, again, they just use it kind of as a little, well, I don't want to say dumpy, but it was looking very dumpy. So we got all that out, opened it up. It has a desk and a chair area, and it has windows on 3 sides. It's one of our smallest rooms, but yet it's been one of the most popular rooms. So it's just a matter of taking the same thing and just getting a different look. And you can see from our testimonials that you really like the concept. A lot of people, we ask that question when people come in, how they're familiar with co-working and co-living, and about 80% of them are not. And then there's percentage of them are they pleasantly surprised when they find out that they love the co-working co-living aspect of it. So we are now in a sharing economy, and that's since happened since 2008 when Uber, when Airbnb, people share their bikes, they share their animals, they share everything. So we're in a sharing economy. So when you are investing in real estate, you should be investing in something that caters to that economy. And this is one of the things. We have events. As I mentioned, we have game nights, and we've had different events in the yard. We have a co-working lounge. So the attic, this is what the attic was before. We converted that attic into a co-working lounge. So they've got 4 desks, and they adjust. They're standing desks as well. They've got a large screen TV. They've got games. They've got a little library, yoga mats, reading nooks, and all kinds of things in that space that's being so well enjoyed. Even like one of the things that we like from Talia's.
Oh yeah, great co-working spot, privacy when you need it, and company when you want it.
So again, that's the secret. They can be in their rooms. All of them have desks and work areas in their room and work if they need to. But when they want to have coffee or go in the back patio, the front patio, and communicate with people, they can just simply walk downstairs and do it. So a lot of people now are paying for co-working spaces like the WeWorks and so forth. You don't have to pay for it here. It's included in your accommodations. So let's think about Airbnb meets WeWork, being able to provide it too. And the numbers speak for itself. What do the numbers say?
Well, so far, we've booked it. We're booking it about $1,000 a day. And so far it's up to 270,000 well, you can see this 2,076.46. That's since January 14th. That's how much we've booked. Our occupancy rate is as high as 99.6%. It varies a little bit from there, but it stays up
average.
there. Yeah, it stays up there very well. So basically, yeah, it's staying rented. It's you can see that we did very well in July. That was Comic-Con and the 4th of July. So the rooms were pretty much booked the whole month. And so basically it's we're on pace to beat our pro forma on
Yes.
the first year.
Yes, and I think it's not only the fact as the place was booked, the rates change. We use pricing dynamic, and pricing dynamic is a service that you pay for that tells you what the pricing is in your area. They use a lot of AirDNA, they refer to it. They use a lot of the data from Airbnb, but it just, so they adjust. So we were able to double, in some instances, almost triple the prices of the rooms when there's a big event or a certain time of the year, which is not something you want to try to do individually ever at all. So that's a really big advantage, and that makes the difference. And we're, as I mentioned, we're Superhost, and these are all screenshots from Airbnb. So we have an overall rating of 4.8 stars and 100% response rate, and we have over 2,324 nights booked already, as well as a 0.25% cancellation rate. So as this, we're excited about it. We see the results, we see the response. I'm there, I was there yesterday at the property in San Diego. I'll be in Cabo next week. On the 18th, I leave for a week to be able to start now fine tuning the prices, the color of the paint, the supplies, the furnishings, and everything, the contractors and the other people that would be. So like Jake said earlier, so as soon as we close, we're ready to go. There'll be, all the decisions will be made and all the estimates will be done. So Jake, you want to close us out with the summary?
I would be happy to. So yeah, just to recap, this is a 7-door property total, and that's the 6 identical units with the 1 studio in a desirable area of San Jose del Cabo, several feet from the 1 of 8 swimmable beaches. It is a passive real estate investment. So you can kind of kick back and relax, just like the 2 people there on the beach. The water, no work required. We'll take care of the heavy lifting. $50,000 investment has a 6 to 7% annual interest paid monthly, based on Class A or Class B, followed by the 6 to 7% catch up at the end. A $100,000 investment has a 7 to 8% annual interest paid monthly, based on Class A or Class B, followed by the 7 to 8% catch up at the end. The Class B equity split is 50-50, and then up to 20% return on investment for a $50,000 investment, and then up to 21% ROI on a $100,000 investment.
Awesome. Awesome. So now we thank you. If you would like to speak to me personally, simply take a picture of that QR code, take your cameras, and when you do your cameras, a link will pop up and you can schedule an appointment. But otherwise, we would love to open it up to questions. I want to thank you so much for your time.